Oh, we streaming? We live. Oh, hold on. What's going on, guys? You know the vibes. I'm back. Little rush job today. We're just gonna check some updates and see what's going on. We're gonna spin it real quick. Let's get to it. We got Russia major breaking news, major Russia Ukraine and market updates. Let's get to it.
Hey everyone, I have a lot to talk about today. There's so much going on. I was trying to make a video, but I decided it would be better to get together right here in live. And of course, this video will be posted later for everybody to watch, see, and hear. But I feel like it's easier for me to do this live instead of editing and putting out there. By the time you get this news, it's going to be tomorrow. So this world is moving faster than we've ever seen before. Catching up with this is going to be a little bit hard, but I have my notes. I've been up for few hours and have everything set up for you. So there's gonna be, let's
Come
say,
on, Tom.
five to
Let's get
7
to it.
minutes of and what from you guys from the comments. But just bear with me while I go through the initial kind of notes that I have about this. So first of all, there's some big updates out of Russia. Apparently, the Russian ruble plunges to a new record low. Believe it or not. After this recent wave of sanctions that only seems to be getting worse by the minute.
Question: is it time to buy? Because I don't know how to buy Russian stuff, but you know Russia's not gonna stay down forever. It's not like they're about to crush this country. So when everybody's rushing to get out, that's when it's time for us to get in. So I'm thinking I might make a video on how to nah, they might flag me if I make a video on how to buy Russian stock or whatever it is. All right, we'll keep moving.
Just dropped 25%. It's about 105 rubles per dollar. From my friends in Russia, I can tell you 100% that bank ATMs are almost not working. Very hard to find an ATM that actually works. So people are trying to get cash out because nobody accepts credit cards. Apple Pay is not working. So people are rushing for the cash machines
Crypto.
and they don't pretty much work anymore.
Get you some
Very
crypto.
few that do. Apple Pay doesn't work. I just mentioned it before. Basically, the Russian economy is going down the toilet. Putin obviously won't care. And even though China might take a little bit of the pain off, it's not going to be enough to replace European money. I mean, European money is pretty much 40% of the Russian budget. That's Russian energy sales to Europe. It's going to be very hard to replace. In fact, these latest sanctions kind of turned Russia to unbankable now, I guess, the right term. Not only that, logistically, being in Russia right now is living hell. UPS, FedEx not delivering to Russia until further notice. The European Union just announced their skies are closed to Russian airliners. BP just announced that they're basically abandoning a 20% stake in Rosneft. Now, I don't know exactly what it means that they're abandoning it. I'm assuming they're going to sell it.
20,
but basically, they're getting out of Russia. There's also a very interesting article by Steve Hanke, an economist from Johns Hopkins. Basically, he just said that the recent 2 days, the turmoil that happened in Russia, is going to effectively spike Russian inflation to 70%, almost 70% on a year-to-year basis as it stands today. So Russia is going through some serious pain. Obviously, it's not going to be good for poor people, but politicians, not only in Russia, politicians usually don't care about the suffering of the poor guy.
Right.
So it's not going to stop Putin, but it's going to be very hard for ordinary Russians that probably most likely don't even support this war. We do on your screen right now, you can see oil is shooting up again. Crude oil is back up to around 95, give or take, based on Russia fears. Russia.
Y'all make sure y'all fill up your tanks. If y'all ain't fill up your tanks yet, make sure y'all do, because those prices haven't hit the US yet, but they definitely coming.
Russia is a major oil supplier. They're not the biggest one. Russia exports about 4 to 5 million barrels per day, which is like 1/10 of the global oil supply. It's massive, but it's not like cataclysmic. Still, a big chunk of oil that's now in question. On gas, they're way more substantiated. On gas, they provide 40% of Europe's gas, which is a big deal. So we're going to see some spikes there as well. Now, on the good note, I guess if there's a good note here, I don't know if there's a good note here, but I think you remember the famous song by Edwin Starr, "War. What is it good for?" I mean, I'm guessing the dude didn't have military stocks because those are flying through the roof. The merchants of war are basically enjoying what Olaf Scholz, the Chancellor of Germany, said Friday. Basically, he said, "Hey, we're going to put $110 billion this year into our military spending, which is double than what they usually spend in the regular year. And from now on, going forward, 2% of our GDP is going to go to military. For a country like Germany, that's a lot. That's like a 35% increase of the usual military spending. I'm assuming other EU countries will follow as everybody scrambles to kind of remedy the under.
This is perfect for the military, for those military defense contractors. This is exactly what they wanted. The U.S. already spent like 800. I say this every video. We spent $800 billion. The next person, next closest to what we spend is, I don't know who it is, but it's like $290 billion. So we spend 600, 500 billion more than the closest country, and now other countries want war, so it's gonna get crazy.
Spending that they had over the past 20 years. I mean, the companies like Lockheed are going to make a lot of money, Raytheon, GD, even Palantir is on that list, believe it or not. Up, I think, 2% pre-market. We're going to take a look at it in a second. Speaking of Palantir, it seems like Alex Karp was 100% right. Palantir is, slowly becoming one of the most important software companies in the world as it stands with this conflict. Everything he said about the chaotic world, the adversarial nature of the forces of democracy and freedom versus the evils are now happening. And so on the one hand, Palantir
I actually started buying Palantir puts. I mean, excuse me, not puts. Calls 2 years out, and yeah, we gonna get to it. I mean, I think that worst case scenario is definitely gonna go up higher than what it is now. So it's just based off of all of the hype. So
is basically enjoying the rise in the military stocks because they're a massive military supplier. On the other hand, they're pretty much riding the high of the Dan Ives note from Wedbush, basically saying, "Hey, cybersecurity is going to be huge right now." And just from Thursday, Palantir went up from 9.8 to $12, almost $12 today. It's like a 20% rise in a single day or a day and a half. Now, I don't know if this is sustainable, and I don't know if the stock goes to $7 or $77. I don't care. It's honestly just interesting to see how Alex was right in his prediction that Palantir is going to play a major role in whatever it is the world is becoming right now. I do have some updates. So I have friends in Belarus. Apparently, the whole Belarus draft to join the war in Ukraine is real, it seems. It's not officially confirmed, but I did speak to some people on the ground. It seems that Belarus is going in on it. Not good news for Belarus. I mean, their military is even worse than Putin's, and Putin's just got exposed. Just more 18-year-old kids going through the meat grinder of warmongering dictators. Very, very sad. Putin, by the way, seems to be very frustrated by the lack of progress. Even though he tried to throw in the Chechen army to an extent, it didn't really work. Now the Belarusian draft, I'm assuming, is not going to work. His latest nuclear threat that he just voiced with the whole nuclear stuff, raising nuclear alert, is just a sign that he's getting frustrated. It's essentially a sign for NATO, hey, back off, because he's getting exposed right now on the military front. He's basically telling, hey, NATO, back off. I still have nukes. Even though I'm getting exposed on the battlefield, you still can't touch me. Yep. So that's kind of my recap over the past. I don't know how much longer this took. I have no idea. Let me try and see. This probably took what, like a few minutes? A good few minutes? How long were we on? I don't know. Whatever it is. I think like 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Good. So now questions. And this is the end of the video. From this point on, just questions from the chat. Thank you, Adam Bergman, for the $10 super chat. Tom, I appreciate you. Thank you for that. I appreciate you as well. I love the content. Support Brighton Beach. Let's go, Palantir. Let's stop this war. Thank you for your no BS videos. I really agree with.
All right, I think that's all he got because I gotta go in a little bit. I wanted to check out Jeremy's videos. It's called Market Just Tanked. This is why. Let's roll that.
The market's fallen big time. A lot of people want to know what's going on. Why is this happening in the market? I'm going to take you through all that. We're just going to jump into it as always, and kind of my perspective on this, what to look out for over the next couple days, and kind of those sorts of things. Okay. First off, Russian ruble plunges nearly 30% against the dollar amid sanctions over the Ukraine invasion. The ruble was trading as low as 119 per dollar as offshore trading started Monday morning during Asia hours, from nearly 84 per dollar per the previous day. So, oh my gosh, okay, the ruble just went pew. Now, very important, a couple things, okay? First is, when you see something like this, understand these are the type of things that are going to cause a lot more volatility in this market. When you see the Russian ruble plunge 30%, that is so far from a natural move. I can't even explain it. Like, this isn't stuff that just happens all the time or something like that. So when you have this,
So I think tomorrow we're gonna react to how to buy, like buying a dip, Russian Ukraine crisis. Which stocks did I buy today? I want to buy stuff in Russia, because I mean, if it's as low as it's ever been, like I said, Russia's a superpower. I feel like people are just fearing and they're getting out. And I'm not really for what Russia's doing, but I'm for getting paid. So if people are leaving something, I want to be buying it because it's obviously very cheap. So I'm gonna see if we can figure that out and make a playlist, and we'll react to a couple videos and see if we can get that going. What's that?
The market's going to shake around. It's going to freak a lot of people out. A lot of folks are going to look at this. The computers, and we always talk about the algorithms and computer trading and those sorts of things that aren't even dictated by a human, right? I mean, at the end of the day, when you see this sort of headline, it basically shows you the market's way out of whack right now. Second part is, if you are somebody that, let's say you're a very, very sophisticated trader, right? You maybe a fund or whatever, right? Very, very sophisticated. And when I say very, very sophisticated, I'm not just talking about stocks. You also know bonds very well. You also know currencies very well. Well, guess where the real opportunity is if you're a trader right now? It's actually not in the stock market. It's actually in the currency market right now. That's where a tremendous amount of opportunity. So I would bet you any money that a lot of fund managers and a lot of, let's call them more sophisticated traders are actually spending their time right now in the currencies market if they know it very well. Because yeah, when you have these sorts of moves, whenever you see massive volatility, just understand there's a lot of money being lost and a lot of money being made. And traders are going to go to whatever's the most volatile at a particular time. And if that means the currency market's crazy right now, that's where they're going to flood to, because that's where that opportunity is, okay? And so that is something that just gets everybody going. Kind of like, what else gets everybody going is 5 free stocks from this, like, oh my gosh, man. Thought we were on the comeback. It was green days of the last few trading days, and now we're red again. Oh my gosh, okay? I'll explain to you in just a moment why futures are so down right now, okay? S&P.
He's going to explain
500.
I want to see, I want to see what crypto's doing right now, because I did not check. I checked the portfolio yesterday, but it wasn't that bad last time I checked. So let's see what's going on now. We got, I'm getting nice with this little, what's the name? We got Coin Market Cap. Everybody uses this. Bitcoin, see, everybody's talking about stuff be down, but it just be moving sideways. 38,000. It was 37 yesterday, 26 on Ethereum. We gonna look at my coins. 72 cents for XRP. That's my biggest holdings. Cardano, 88 cents. Yeah, everything is sideways. I'm gonna just go back to what he was talking about. Let's go.
Also down 2.35%. We're also in early trading, so do keep that in mind. This market could get a little better. It could also get a lot worse over the next several hours before the market opens. But oil, okay? And if you want to know why the market's dropping drastically, it's because oil just went up massively. And anytime oil's going spiking high right now, it wants to downtrend the market. Now, usually if oil's going up, the market kind of goes up. If oil's going down, the market kind of goes down. But I can tell you right now, we're not in that sort of market right now. If folks are looking at this and like, oil's going up so much, so they're thinking about it in a couple of respects, right? The first respect is they're thinking, my gosh, oil's going up so much, transportation of everything goes up so much, right? And it creates a much worse situation if you're transporting any goods, which, let's be honest, almost every single company, unless they're a fully digital company, has to transport items. So earnings end up getting hit in that sort of situation, right? Because somebody's paying for higher gas prices at the end of the day, right? Second thing people think about is the consumer. The consumer's hurt, okay? And there's a third component that's even more important, okay? Second component is the consumer's hurt. So if you get, 95% plus of people still drive internal combustion engines, if not like 98% plus of people, right? So being that we're still in an environment where most folks drive internal combustion engines, they have to go to the gas station and they have to fill up their car with gas. That is how they get around, okay? And if they're not driving their own car, then they might be getting an Uber ride, which guess what? All the Uber drivers, like 99% of them, also drive internal combustion engines, okay? So don't matter what, you are paying for higher gas prices. And if you're paying for higher gas prices, it's less money that you have to go spend at the restaurant or the mall or this place or that place, right? So that's the second thing. It's basically just an increased tax on consumers. And we're in February right now. Like, where do you think oil prices could be in 3 months from now or 4 months from now? Let's hope lower, but usually what you should expect is oil prices ramp up as you go into springtime and get ready to go into summertime, essentially. That's usually what happens. Doesn't mean that's absolutely what's going to happen this year. That's just how it usually rolls, okay? But the third thing's actually more important for the market, okay? And what that is everybody's been talking about inflation. Well, if you all of a sudden you're talking about higher oil prices, higher gas prices, guess what? That's another thing that can hurt those inflation numbers and make inflation numbers look really, really bad over the next couple months. And like I said, we still got this month, February, and next month, March, we still got very tough comps. After that, I'm not even worried about inflation in terms of the rate of increase. It's going to come down massively. April and after, I'm feeling pretty darn confident, okay? But for February and March, I'm not feeling confident. And if you're talking about gasoline prices being very, very expensive for the next, for right now and for the next, month or so, it's going to make inflation numbers look really bad. And that's what makes the market say, oh my gosh, the Fed is going to raise rates 7-8 times this year because inflation's going up so much. And so we might not get that breather. We shouldn't, in my opinion, guys, don't expect a breather on inflation in terms of the rate of increase until April. But the market might sometimes hope like maybe we're going to get a little breather here. If oil prices keep going up, then it's going to be hard to get a breather because that's just going to hurt all those inflation numbers. And they try to, make it look as good as possible. But I can tell you that's not good. And that's a scary thing for the market because, market's basically kind of priced in 7 rate hikes. But yeah, if oil just keeps going up and up and up, it's going to make the inflation numbers look even worse over the next 1 to 2 months. Okay. So that's not a good situation at all, right? Now, you got this. Putin orders Russian nuclear deterrence forces on high alert. So, we talked about the machines, the algorithms, right? This is another one of those things that if you're talking...
I don't think he's going to do anything with these nukes. That would be the silliest thing ever. And I don't think... he's talking, he's chatting, but I know he's not about that life. It's just and nothing against the United States, but I was watching a video yesterday and he was saying everybody is tough when you bring the war to them. So the U.S. hasn't fought a war, I think, since the Civil War, where it's been fought on the United States soil. So it's easy to be tough when you bringing the war to someone else. But when the war hits your country, if he does what he thinks he's going to do with these nukes and people start to bring the war to his country and start looking for him personally, yeah, that's not going to be a good look. And I don't think that's a war that Russia's going to win either, even though they have more nukes. I think I've seen the numbers. They have 6,800 nukes in the United States, which is second up, has about 5,500. But I'd wonder who's leaking this information anyway. Why do we know how many nukes each other have? But it's neither here nor there, so...
Talking about getting everybody going, getting the machines going, right? The algorithms, reading headlines like that, it's not good. It's not good for the market, okay? Whenever you hear Russian and nuclear in the same sentence, believe me, the algos are going to get scared. You know who else is going to get scared? Not just the machines, but the humans as well. Because humans, whenever the humans hear Russia, nuclear, people get freaked out whenever they hear that and they're like, what's going to transpire here? And so it's just another factor on why I think futures are tanking here, because you obviously got oil situation, the many various things that happen there, but then you got this, Yeah, that's a tough buy situation. What algorithm's out there seeing oil, spike way high and sees Russian nuclear something in a headline and it's like, ain't gonna buy. No, that doesn't happen, okay? And so nonetheless, futures are no, keep this in mind, okay? I wanna explain something, right? So in Friday's video, I explained to folks, don't expect this Russia situation to be over. Just because the market went up 2 straight days, I said, don't expect that this thing's over by any stretch of the imagination. It can get far worse. The headlines can get worse and those sorts of things. I try to explain that to folks. And here we are in this situation where the market was obviously massively green on Friday. The market had one of the biggest turns in the history of the stock market in terms of the NASDAQ happened on Thursday. Thursday, everybody thought, market's going to be down 3 to 5%. And the market ended up being, the NASDAQ was up 3+%, and it had over a 5% intraday, which was ridiculous, okay? Then everybody said, okay, well, sure, Thursday was good, but you know what? That was just a fake out day. Friday's going to be down huge. And then the Dow goes up 830 something points. The Russell's up 2+%. And everybody's like, what? How did this just happen? Are you kidding me? You got to be flipping my flapjacks, right? So now the thing is like Monday. Okay, well, yeah, it went up Thursday, went up Friday. Monday's the bad day. And so everybody starts thinking that. Now, keep this in mind. Just because futures are tanking down doesn't mean you can't have a third comeback, okay? And I know that sounds ridiculous to even try to conceptualize, but futures were massively down, when I went to bed, which is super late, like 3 a.m., on going into Friday, massively down. And guess what? We turned massively green. Thursday futures were awful. I mean, awful. And we completely turned the market during that trading day. And so can it happen a third time? Probably unlikely, but it could happen. And so just don't be shocked if it does happen again, because you kind of get in this market here where everybody's like, okay, the next day it has to be down huge. It's kind of like playing roulette. I don't know if you guys ever played roulette before in Vegas, and you see it come up on one color like 7 times in a row, and it's like it comes up red every time. This has got to be the time it comes up on black. At least that's my thought process. And it's still like 49.49, and then you got the greens out there.
That's why you just got to keep buying, because it's like no one knows. Everybody's like, oh, the market's crashing. Man, I sat out the market for like a good 6-7 months. When that whole in March 2020, that joint crashed, I sat out and watched it go right back up. Like after that, I realized like, man, you can't really listen to people because don't nobody really know what the market's going to do.
And then you end up playing black and it still doesn't come up. And you're like, no, how is this possible? Okay.
That's me.
And that's kind of what you get into a market. If it turns green again tomorrow, everybody's brains are going to be completely fried, because they're like, how could this have just happened to us 3 days in a row, essentially, right? VIX is likely going to spike way up tomorrow, regardless of how the market is. Regardless if the market does somehow turn, or even if it's a bad day, VIX expect that a big spike there in the volatility index. Okay. No, we got all these earnings coming this week, and I talked about this on a video I released this morning. So massive amounts of earnings coming in, and the thing with these earnings is they're not. Most of these companies aren't super important for the overall market in terms of how the indexes move. But you know who they are important to? The retail investors, because a lot of these stocks are heavy retail names. You got Lucid, you have Zoom, you have Smile Direct Club, you have SoFi, you have AMC, you have Workhorse, you have Lordstown Motors, Plug Power, Wish, Dutch Bros, Bionano Genomics, Celsius Beverage, ChargePoint. Are you kidding me? Okay. I mean, you want to talk about a big week for the retail investor crowd. It is this week. This is like the Super Bowl week for folks, okay? And so that's just another element in this market that you gotta pay attention to, okay? Now, in my opinion, like what's the approach in this sort of market? Like, how should you be approaching a market like this that is very, very volatile, okay? So the first thing is, don't in a volatile market, a lot of things aren't going to make sense in the short term, right? Mm-hmm. It's not going to make any sense to you. You're going to hear, oh my gosh, Russia invades Ukraine. That means, because the amount of people that I know that are actually really smart individuals, but said, if Russia goes into Ukraine, the S&P is going to fall 5 to 10% over the next several weeks, okay? The amount of people that said that is like a huge number. Well, guess what? Now we're already up since the invasion happened. All the indexes are up 3 to 6% already. Okay, so now we got to fall a ton over the next couple of weeks just to get that 5 to 10% number, if that's even going to happen.
Right. Yeah, no, it is what it is. That's kind of crazy.
Did
This
Judge
next one, I'm gonna move on because I got like 3 minutes left. I got to get ready to go. So this next one is called SEC case finally comes to an end. It's over. Ripple, XRP. I'm just gonna end this with crypto. All these guys get on my nerve. We're gonna skip through this, skip around this, and then we're gonna close out because I know this is cap. It didn't come to an end, but I don't know why these guys keep titling it that.
Torres push back the regulators? Is it over for the Security and Exchange Commission in the lawsuit? Is the case...
All right, that's all I needed to see. Is it over? Like, you just said it was over in your title, and it's not. So that's all I got. Appreciate y'all coming and checking out me. I'm going to try to do this every day. So let's go. Let the intro out.
Low on my fitted, dreams